Interesting that he talked on international duty about his club future, which doesn't happen very often with England. He's 28 in the summer, and of course he's linked with big clubs around Europe, and he's at a big club now at Tottenham. If he doesn't leave this summer, are you thinking, well, he'll be at Tottenham for the rest of his career, that this is actually the pivotal summer for Harry Kane's club future?
Yeah, every time I, hear him speak or, see him on the TV and he talks about or addresses the situation about the contract, he seems happy. But under the surface, I can tell he wants to win as well. Like, most players want to win. They want to compete for trophies. They want to, finish their career with as many top games, big accolades they can do. And will he do that at Tottenham? I don't think so. So it's going to be interesting for him, whether he stays or goes, but it's going to be a very, very big decision for him.
Because he's clearly got a massive emotional attachment to Tottenham for obvious reasons. This is a huge decision for him.
Yeah, it is, but he's also a professional. And again, if you're a top player, you want to win the big trophies. A big few months coming up for Tottenham. They've got the League Cup final. Can they get in the top four? Huge question marks. Would that influence him? He's obviously under contract. Tottenham will have a lot to say about it. But if you're in his shoes, and it comes the summer, I think the guy has to move on to really win the big prize. He's not going to do it at Tottenham.
But you say that, but like in 2018, before the World Cup, he didn't even give himself time that he could maybe win a golden boot and then have even more leverage to negotiate a contract, whether you're going to sign or whether you're going to stay. He signed a 6-year deal. It's still 2024. For him to be talking about his contract now, if I'm Spurs, I'm a little bit upset simply because he was happy to sign it there, 2018, for 6 years. So now he's saying that. It's kind of like throwing things up in the air. And I feel that, it's a little bit for me. You know what I mean? I'm not keen.
But because you sign a contract doesn't mean to say you're going to stay there, right? Yeah, but that still gives the club then a bit of power to say, OK, you want to move, you've got 4 years left. At least then Tottenham can say, well, we get 150 million from him, and everyone wins. That can happen.
Yeah, but then the thing about it is that if Harry Kane is now, talking about that, wanting to maybe, what's going to happen with his future and that, then you don't sign for 6 years. You're going into a World Cup. You're going into a World Cup. If you can win the Golden Boot, which he did, you've got even more bargaining power. You can say, well, I don't really want to sign. I want to see how I go. But he signed for 6 years. It's till 2024. If I'm a Tottenham fan, I'll be quite disappointed to hear that. But totally understand what the guys are saying about wanting to win things. But then you think about that before you sign for 6 years.
But, right, he wouldn't be the first player to sign a contract and then want to move a year or two later. That happens.
And that protects the club as much as well, because it protects his value, doesn't it? And he is the one big... I know Son's a very good player, but he's the one big saleable asset Tottenham have, and every club financially is struggling because of COVID. So if they want to reboot the team, that's the obvious place to get a lot of money.
Yeah, and of course, and there's parts of Kane's games I've looked at recently where I'm thinking, if he's the captain of the club, I've looked at him games in Europe where they got knocked out, and I say, we need a bit more from you. So sometimes Mourinho or Tottenham will have to say, OK, he keeps making these noises. If there's a big offer on the table, we'll take it and we move on and we'll reinvest it. That's the game. That's what the game's about.
I think we're never privy to the conversation that maybe Harry Kane had with Levy. He could have said before he signed a contract, look, I'm going to invest, I'm going to bring better players to this team. So Harry's thought, yeah, good opportunity for me to stay at the club that I love. I've been here for however many years, but now I'm going to build, I'm going to win something at Tottenham because you're going to add, and they don't. So...
Well, it's a story that's going to bubble on for as we know. You know football. It's going to bubble on for a bit.